Double Game Week 25 captaincy is a pivotal decision. I only record these best captain videos when the stats are very close. This game week it's very tight. We're going to utilise data analysis to pick the optimal player. Let's get straight into it and start building the shortlist. First up are the Arsenal duo Saka and Odegaard. They face Leicester away and Everton at home. And the next player on the shortlist is Mo Salah. He faces Palace away and Wolves at home. None of these players have the home advantage more than the other. They've got one away fixture and one home fixture, and they're all midfielders, so they all get the extra point per goal scored and the clean sheet point potential, so there's no advantage there over any forwards. Before we proceed to the stats, my transfer advice is that you've got a triple up of Arsenal players. They've got plenty of good options, so you will probably have Saka or Odegaard, ideally both. But from Liverpool, Salah's by far the best option, so I'd make sure you've got him this game week. Let's take a look at the non-penalty stats per 90 minutes for this season. Odegaard's got the highest return rate with 2.9, Saka trails by just 0.1, and Salah trails by just 0.2. But the main thing to consider here is the underlying stats because they're better at projecting future return points than actual return points themselves. So although Salah's been underperforming his underlying stats and he's got the lowest return rate, he's actually got the most promising underlying stats. Don't forget that all of these stats are non-penalty. Odegaard's just ahead of Saka, but Saka's on penalty duties for Arsenal, which means that Odegaard isn't. Salah's a dedicated penalty taker at Liverpool, but he doesn't take any free kicks or corners. Both of the Arsenal players take in direct free kicks and corners, however, Odegaard takes direct free kicks and Saka doesn't. Now let's take a look at the probability of each player scoring or assisting. These odds are based on the assumption that each player plays 180 minutes. We'll review the expected minutes later on in the video. Salah's got the highest anytime goal scorer odds with 69%, Saka trails by 10%, and Odegaard trails by 30%. To be fair, Odegaard's got the highest anytime assister odds, but it's not enough to compensate on the anytime return odds. It's got by far the lowest, and don't forget you get more points per goal scored than assists. Therefore, having it weighted heavily on assists is less beneficial. So based on that information, not only has Salah got the best chance of success if he plays both of the full matches, he's actually got a lot of his odds weighted on goals. The Egyptian also tops the points projections over on Fantasy Football Fix with 11.6. Over on Fantasy Football Scout he's also got the highest with 11.5. Saka is notably ahead of Odegaard once again, and that's on both websites. By comparing the opposition's defence, we can see that the Arsenal players have got the slightly easier fixtures. Due to it being a double game week, the defensive numbers have been combined. That's where both opponents have been added together. Then for the clean sheet odds, this is the probability of either opponent getting a clean sheet against that player. To be fair, there's nothing between the players on the clean sheet odds. However, Salah's opponents are slightly more competent at the back. Before we draw up a conclusion, we'll need to carry out a quick risk assessment. Both Arsenal players have had an ample amount of resting time with a week. Salah's still had an adequate amount of resting time with 4 recovery days. I've combined the expected minutes because there's 2 fixtures. Salah's got the most with 167, Saka's only 2 behind, and Odegaard's only 2 behind him. There's not much to split them. If anything, all 3 players on the shortlist pass the risk assessment, and I've not got any concerns over the fitness or rotation risk of any of these 3 players. If you've skipped forward to this part, make sure you go back and watch the data analysis because you might conclude with a different player to me, but I believe the best captain for double game week 25 is Mo Salah. I wouldn't blame you for picking Saka because he's still a valid pick. He's close in second place. I've already used my 2 free transfers this game week. I might even be taking some hits as well. Make sure you watch my team selection video if you haven't already. I've discussed why Tarkowski's a much better option than you might originally think, and why Haaland's far from essential.